"Don't you dare sit before me, just being a wife." Ethan's voice roared, filling the room. In that moment, a dull pain shot through my belly. Now, at 6 months pregnant, I winced in discomfort. An unfamiliar pain coursed through my stomach, causing me to crumple to the floor. "Hannah, are you okay?" Someone called out. It was my mother-in-law and father-in-law rushing to my aid. Ethan, accustomed to defying his parents, seemed unfazed. In this house, he believed he was the boss, the smartest, and the most elite. His tone dripped with scorn, as if laughing at everyone present. It made me angry, but I was too afraid of being hurt again to speak up. Just then, someone else spoke up, saying, "Excuse me," and sat down next to Ethan. I watched closely as this person pulled out a business card from their pocket and handed it to Ethan. They introduced themselves as Hannah, turning 29 this year. They used to work for a telecommunication company after graduating from college, but quit this summer. I wanted to stay at the company a bit longer, but Ethan asked me to quit, promising to take care of me. The truth is, there was another reason I quit my job. I was pregnant with Ethan's child. We found ourselves in what you might call a shotgun wedding. Currently, I'm 5 months pregnant. I had to inform my colleagues that my departure was due to the pregnancy and marriage. They were saddened to see me go, but congratulated me on the union, that I wouldn't find a connection there. But then Ethan approached me with a confident smile. He had a way with words, and his charisma drew me in. We started talking, and I found myself captivated by his stories of success and ambition. As we continued to meet and spend time together, I fell deeper into Ethan's charm. He seemed like the perfect match for me, someone who could provide stability and security. I admired his drive and the path he had carved for himself in his career. It felt like a dream come true to have found someone like him. The whirlwind romance led us to the decision of getting married. I didn't question it at the time. I was too infatuated, too blinded by the image of the life we would build together. Ethan's confidence and accomplishments overshadowed any doubts that might have lingered. Little did I know, I was oblivious to the real person Ethan was. The signs were there, hidden beneath his charm and success. But I chose not to see them. In my urgency for companionship and love, I'd overlooked the warning signals. Looking back, I realized that meeting Ethan was a result of my own insecurities and societal pressures. I felt the need to conform to the expectations placed upon me. I yearned for the security of a partner, and Ethan seemed to embody that. Now, as I lay on the floor, in pain and questioning my choices, I began to see the cracks in the facade. Ethan's authoritative nature, his dismissive attitude towards others, and his controlling behavior were becoming clearer. The power he wielded with his words was not a sign of confidence, but rather a reflection of his pushy and dominant character. I met Ethan at a time when I was vulnerable, seeking validation and love. But I failed to consider the kind of person he truly was. My shyness and insecurities prevented me from taking charge of my own happiness. I allowed myself to be swept away by the allure of his success and the promises he made. Now, lying on the floor, I realized that I must find the strength within myself to confront the truth about Ethan and the life I have chosen. It's time to reflect on my own desires and take control of my own destiny, even if it means acknowledging my regrets and making difficult decisions for the sake of my well-being and the well-being of my unborn child. Or stress-related symptoms. But one day, the symptoms became unbearable, and I collapsed at work. Worried, Ethan rushed me to the hospital. After a series of tests, the doctor delivered unexpected news. I wasn't suffering from a cold or stress. I was pregnant. Shocked and overwhelmed, I turned to Ethan, unsure of how he would react. To my surprise, Ethan's face lit up with joy. He held my hand tightly and said, "We're going to have a baby, Hannah. This is amazing news." His excitement and genuine happiness washed away any doubts I had. In that moment, I felt a glimmer of hope and reassurance. Ethan became even more attentive and caring as we navigated through my pregnancy. He accompanied me to every doctor's appointment, held my hand during ultrasounds, and researched all the ways to ensure a healthy pregnancy. It seemed like we were on this journey together, and I cherished the bond we were forming as expecting parents. As time went on, I had to make a difficult decision about my job. The demands of my pregnancy and the increasing discomfort made it challenging to continue working. Ethan, with his unwavering support, urged me to quit my job and assured me that he would take care of us. I hesitated, feeling a pang of regret about leaving my colleagues and the career I had worked hard for. However, the thought of the life we could build as a family, with Ethan providing for us, overshadowed any doubts. I trusted him, believing that his love and dedication were enough to sustain us. And so, I bid farewell to my colleagues, explaining that my departure was due to the pregnancy and marriage. They were understanding and offered their congratulations. Little did I know, this decision would mark the beginning of a journey filled with unforeseen challenges and revelations. But in that moment, as we awaited the arrival of our child, I held on to the hope that our love and commitment would withstand any obstacles that lay ahead. After having children, but it wasn't the norm, I enjoyed my work and the sense of independence it gave me. Confused, I asked Ethan why he wanted me to quit. He explained that he wanted me to focus on being a mother and taking care of our child. He believed it would be better for our family if I stayed at home, dedicating my time and energy solely to parenting. His words struck me with a mix of emotions. On one hand, I understood the importance of being present for our child and providing a nurturing environment. On the other hand, I couldn't help but feel a sense of loss and unease at the thought of giving up my career. I expressed my concerns to Ethan, explaining that my job was not just a means of financial stability, but also a source of personal fulfillment and a way to contribute to society. I wanted to find a balance between motherhood and my professional aspirations, but Ethan remained firm in his stance, insisting that it would be best for our family if I stayed home. He argued that he would be able to support us financially and that I would have a more meaningful role as a full-time mother. Caught between my desire to be a devoted parent and my longing to continue my career, I found myself torn. I wanted to make the right decision for our child, but I also didn't want to lose my own identity and independence. In the end, I gave in to Ethan's request. I quit my job, believing that it was the sacrifice I needed to make to prioritize our family. I convinced myself that being a stay-at-home mom would bring me fulfillment and that I could always return to work later. However, as time went on, I began to feel a growing sense of resentment and regret. I missed the challenges and accomplishments that came with my career. I yearned for the sense of purpose and fulfillment that it provided. Moreover, as I settled into my role as a stay-at-home mom, I realized that Ethan's expectations of me had changed. He became more controlling and demanding, dictating how I should care for our child and how I should manage the household. My opinions and desires seemed to matter less and less. I started to question whether I had made the right decision by sacrificing my career and surrendering my independence. I couldn't help but wonder if I had lost a part of myself in the process. Now, lying on the floor, feeling the weight of the situation, I realized that my regrets about quitting my job were not unfounded. I couldn't understand why he would lash out at me, especially when I was going through the physical and emotional challenges of pregnancy. It seemed as though his frustrations at work were being taken out on me, and it was taking a toll on our relationship. I tried to communicate my feelings to Ethan, expressing how his words were affecting me. I hoped that he would understand and make an effort to change his behavior. As time went on, the situation worsened. Ethan's behavior became increasingly controlling and demeaning. He would criticize my every move, nitpick about how I cared for our home, and belittle my opinions and choices. It felt as though I had lost my voice and my sense of self-worth. The once loving and considerate man I fell in love with seemed to have disappeared, replaced by someone I could hardly recognize. I began to question whether I had made the right decision to marry him and sacrifice my career. In the midst of my turmoil, I sought support from friends and family. They encouraged me to prioritize my well-being and the well-being of our child. They reminded me that I deserved respect, love, and happiness in my relationship. With their guidance, I found the strength to confront Ethan about his behavior and the impact it was having on our relationship. I made it clear that I would not tolerate being treated with disrespect and that I expected us to work together to create a healthy and supportive environment for our growing family. To my surprise, Ethan showed a moment of remorse and acknowledged his faults. He admitted that his frustrations at work had been affecting his behavior towards me, and he promised to seek help and make changes. He expressed his love for me and his desire to be a better partner and father. While I was cautiously optimistic about his words, I knew that rebuilding trust would take time. We sought couples therapy to address our issues and learn healthier ways of communicating and supporting each other. The journey was not easy, and there were setbacks along the way. But with therapy and our shared commitment to growth, we began to rebuild our relationship. Ethan started taking responsibility for his actions and made genuine efforts to treat me with kindness and respect. As we welcomed our child into the world, I realized that our family's happiness depended on the love and support we showed one another. It was a constant effort, but we worked together to create a nurturing and harmonious environment for our child to thrive. So, as we arrived, I was nervous about meeting Ethan's family for the first time and wanted everything to go smoothly. But as soon as we entered the house, I sensed a cold atmosphere. Ethan's parents greeted us with forced smiles, and their body language seemed distant and unwelcoming. It was clear that they had reservations about me, and I couldn't help but feel a pang of anxiety. Throughout the event, I tried my best to be polite and engage in conversations with Ethan's relatives. However, it felt as though I was constantly being scrutinized and judged. They made subtle comments about my appearance, my background, and even my decision to quit my job. It was a constant reminder that I didn't meet their expectations. Meanwhile, Ethan seemed oblivious to the tension in the room. He was busy socializing and enjoying himself, completely unaware of the discomfort I was experiencing. It felt as though he had once again left me to fend for myself in an unfamiliar and hostile environment. As the day went on, my anxiety and frustration grew. I longed for the support and understanding that I desperately needed in that moment. But instead, I was met with disapproval and indifference. The event finally came to an end, and we made our way back home. I couldn't help but feel a sense of disappointment and sadness. I had hoped that the family gathering would be an opportunity to bond and build connections, but it only deepened the divide between us. In the days that followed, I confronted Ethan about his family's behavior and the way he seemed to dismiss my feelings. I expressed my need for his support and understanding, especially during this vulnerable time of pregnancy. To my surprise, Ethan listened attentively and acknowledged that he had been oblivious to the discomfort I was feeling. He apologized for not being more present and promised to work on being more supportive in the future. He also assured me that he would address the issue with his family and set boundaries to protect our well-being. True to his word, Ethan had a heartfelt conversation with his parents, expressing his disappointment in their treatment of me and demanding respect and acceptance. While it took time for his parents to adjust their attitude, they eventually realized the importance of embracing our growing family and began to make efforts to be more welcoming. As our child was born, the bond between our families grew stronger. The challenges we faced brought us closer together, and we learned the importance of open communication and mutual respect. While there were still occasional disagreements and misunderstandings, we were committed to nurturing a loving and inclusive family environment for our child. Through it all, I realized the significance of standing up for myself and expressing my needs. I learned that my voice mattered and that I deserved to be treated with respect and dignity. It was a valuable lesson that empowered me not only in my relationship with Ethan, but in all aspects of my life. As time went on, our family continued to grow and evolve. We faced new challenges and celebrated joyful moments together. And through it all, I held onto the belief that love, understanding, and open communication were the keys to creating a harmonious and loving family unit. As I sat on the floor, clutching my aching belly, my brother Ronnie confronted Ethan with an intensity I had never seen before. His voice remained calm, but the anger in his words was palpable. "Ethan, I'm disappointed in you. How dare you treat my sister with such disrespect and disregard? She is not just a wife. She is a strong, intelligent woman who deserves love and support, especially during her pregnancy." The room fell silent as everyone absorbed my brother's words. Ethan's face turned pale, and his arrogance seemed to crumble in the face of my brother's presence. My parents stood by quietly, their expressions a mix of concern and support. Ronnie continued, his voice filled with a mix of fury and disappointment. "I won't stand for anyone mistreating my family, especially my sister. Hannah deserves better, and I expect you to change your behavior immediately." With a stern look, my brother turned away from Ethan and helped me up from the floor. His protective presence enveloped me, and I felt a sense of relief and gratitude for having him by my side. As time went on, Ethan realized the gravity of his actions and the impact they had on our relationship and his standing within both families. He sought therapy to address his anger and entitlement issues, and we attended couples counseling to rebuild trust and improve communication. It was a long and challenging journey, but through therapy and a genuine commitment to change, Ethan slowly transformed. He learned to recognize and address his toxic behavior, and he became a more supportive and respectful partner. In the years that followed, our families grew closer. My brother Ronnie and Ethan developed a mutual respect, and they even collaborated on business ventures. It was a testament to the power of forgiveness and growth. As for me, I found strength in the support of my family and the love I had for our child. Looking back, I am grateful for the challenging experiences we faced. They forced us to confront our faults and grow as individuals and as a family. Today, our relationship is built on a foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and love. And as our child grows up, they will witness the power of standing up against mistreatment and the importance of treating others with kindness and empathy. Our journey serves as a reminder that no one should tolerate abuse or disrespect, and that change is possible when we hold ourselves accountable and strive for growth. As the truth unfolded, a heavy silence settled over the room. Ethan's face turned pale, and his eyes darted around nervously. Ronnie's voice remained composed but carried an underlying disappointment. "Ethan, I can't let fraudulent activities go unnoticed, especially when they involve my own sister. The evidence against you is substantial, and it's only a matter of time before your actions are brought to light." Ethan stammered, desperately trying to defend himself. "I didn't know about any fraudulent activities. I had no idea." Ronnie's gaze remained unwavering. "Ignorance is not an excuse, Ethan. As the sales manager, it was your responsibility to ensure the integrity of the transactions. You should have been diligent and aware of any misconduct within your team." The room remained tense as everyone absorbed the gravity of the situation. My parents looked at me with concern, their faces reflecting a mix of disappointment and worry. They knew that I had been unwittingly caught up in Ethan's deceit. Ronnie continued, "Rest assured, we will thoroughly investigate this matter within our own company. But I strongly advise you to come clean and cooperate fully. The consequences of your actions will be severe, both professionally and legally." Ethan's shoulders slumped, and he seemed to finally grasp the magnitude of his wrongdoing. It was clear that Ethan had taken advantage of his position for personal gain, jeopardizing the trust and reputation of both companies involved. In the following weeks, an internal investigation confirmed the fraudulent activities within the sales department. The truth was brought to light, and Ethan was held accountable for his actions. He was terminated from his position and faced legal repercussions for his involvement in the fraudulent transactions. As for me, I was cleared of any wrongdoing once it became evident that I had been unknowingly caught up in the scheme. The incident served as a wake-up call for me, highlighting the importance of remaining vigilant and questioning unethical practices. In the aftermath, both families worked together to rebuild trust and restore the integrity of the business relationship. It was a painful process, but transparency and open communication helped mend the rift caused by Ethan's actions. As time passed, the incident became a valuable lesson for everyone involved. Both companies implemented stricter financial controls and ethics training to prevent such incidents from happening again. The bond between my brother and me grew stronger as we supported each other in the face of adversity. While the incident had lasting consequences, it also brought about positive change. It served as a reminder that honesty, integrity, and accountability are vital in both personal and professional relationships. And through it all, I learned the importance of surrounding myself with people who value and uphold these principles. Hannah's words hung in the air, and the room fell into a contemplative silence. The weight of the situation was apparent to everyone present. Ronnie, with a mix of concern and understanding in his eyes, nodded in acknowledgement. Hannah, I understand. Take all the time you need to think things through. This is a significant event, and it's important for you to make a decision that feels right for you, Ronnie replied, his voice filled with sincerity. Hannah's parents exchanged glances, their expressions filled with empathy for their daughter's difficult position. Hannah's mother reached out and gently placed her hand on Hannah's arm. We support you, Hannah, no matter what you decide. Your happiness and well-being matter to us above all else. As the evening progressed, Hannah found solace in the presence and support of her family. The weight of her decision regarding her marriage to Ethan was not something she could take lightly, and she needed space to reflect. Days turned into weeks, and Hannah took the time to evaluate her relationship with Ethan thoroughly. She delved into her feelings, considering the trust that had been broken and the patterns of behavior she had observed over time. It was a period of introspection and self-discovery. Eventually, Hannah reached a decision that she felt was best for her future. She announced that she would end her marriage to Ethan. Her family stood by her decision and offered their unwavering support. They understood the gravity of the situation and respected Hannah's need to prioritize her own well-being and happiness. In the aftermath of the separation, Hannah focused on rebuilding her life and healing from the emotional turmoil she had experienced. She found the strength to move forward and embrace new opportunities. As time went on, Hannah found happiness in her own journey and forged new connections with people who appreciated and valued her for who she truly was. She learned to trust again, allowing herself to be open to love and to build a future based on mutual respect and shared values. Ultimately, Hannah's decision to end her marriage was a pivotal moment that led her on a path of self-discovery and personal growth. It was a reminder that one's happiness should never be compromised, and that sometimes difficult choices are necessary to create a brighter and more fulfilling future. Hannah's decision to stay with her parents until the baby was born provided her with a sense of stability and support during a challenging time. As she continued to contemplate her future, news of Ethan's misconduct at work and subsequent termination confirmed her doubts about his character. Despite Ethan's persistent pleas for forgiveness and promises to make things right, Hannah remained resolute in her decision. She recognized the gravity of his actions and understood that rebuilding trust would be a long and uncertain process. The reputation Ethan had acquired in the area made it difficult for him to find employment, further reinforcing Hannah's belief that severing ties with him was the best course of action. As the days passed, Hannah's resolve solidified. She realized that forging a future with someone who had betrayed her trust and caused harm to others was not an option. She acknowledged the challenges of raising a child on her own, but she was determined to provide a happy and secure life for her baby. As Hannah embraced her role as a single parent, she found solace in the unconditional love she had for her child. She knew that the challenges ahead would be demanding, but she was ready to face them with resilience and dedication. With the support of her family and the opportunity to pursue her career, Hannah set out to build a bright and fulfilling future for herself and her child, one day at a time. I hope you guys this video. To watch more incoming interesting stories, subscribe to our channel. Thank you.